What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Because I can't do any fishing right now due to me losing all of my gear and all of my lures and everything, I thought I'd just go over all of my rods. Basically just my overall rod arsenal and primarily what I use. Let me untangle this and I'll get right back with it. Alright guys, so as you know, if you watched my last video, I broke my phone, I lost $400 worth of lures, I lost my entire bag and everything. Did a big purchase on Carl's Bait and Tackle, so that should be showing up relatively soon. Still not gonna be able to fish for a while. I mean, I have lures, but I don't have many of them. I just have a few laying around, so if I do any fishing videos, it's just gonna be quick and little ponds and simple stuff like that. But in the meantime, let's get started. My rod arsenal, I mean, I don't stick with one specific brand. I give every brand a shot. So I mean, I have Shimano rods, I have Shimano reels, I have Daiwa reels, I have a couple Daiwa rods, I have Cabela rods, I have 6-gill, I have everything. I mean, I don't discriminate toward any sort of brand or anything like that. Before we start, if you are not already a subscriber, make sure to click that subscribe button. I would appreciate it very much. It helps out my channel and helps out the video and everything. And also make sure to click the like button. I'd appreciate it a lot. Let's get started. We're gonna start off with just the spinning gear. So we're gonna start off with the 6-gill Creature Edition rod. This is a light action rod. This I use for canal bass fishing. I use this for crappie fishing. This is actually one of my newer rods and I'm still getting accustomed to it, but I really like it. It feels good. It's got a nice bend. And I also have a bait casting rod with this, which we'll go over in a few minutes. But this is a 6.6 light action rod, has a good bend, has enough of a tip to flick it out. I did want to buy their ultralight, but this is all they had. Their ultralight was sold out, and I'm kind of happy that I got this instead, because it's got enough backbone to be able to handle a big fish if you do hook one. The reel that I have that paired up with is my Shimano Sahara 1000. I actually want to and kind of need to buy another one of these. Maybe upsize it, because this reel has been a workhorse. I have caught probably thousands and thousands of fish on this, crappies primarily, and a ton of bass, especially in these Arizona canals. They're loaded in there. I've caught tilapia, carp, everything. I use this rod for catfishing. I mean, this rod I've used for everything and it shreds. It's really killer. And secondly, we have an Abu Garcia X30 spinning reel. It is a Revo X. It's a really good reel. I actually was kind of timid on getting it, but you know, it actually did really good in the ocean. I took this out to San Diego. I did some surf fishing. I did use this little sucker in the bay, and it held up. I mean, I washed it as you should do with all your gear. I washed it right after I was done fishing, so no salt, no corrosion got in it. But I mean, it handled the salt really well. And the rod that I have it paired up with is a Cabela's Fish Eagle. Oops. You could buy this at the Bass Pro Shop. It's actually a really good rod. It's got good guides on it for the price. It's a $70 rod. They have ultralight, that light action. This is a medium action specifically. I wanted a medium action because I wanted just a little more backbone, because I do occasionally go to California and I do fish in the bay, so I want a little bit of backbone just in case I ever hook into a halibut free swimming with a swim bait or something. But it's got a pretty good tip on it as well. It's got the micro guides right up front, so it's cast really smooth for the price. And the only downfall about it is I like a rod that has a longer butt at the end of it, and this doesn't. This is actually pretty short, so that's the only thing. It's kind of a downfall, but I mean, it's done the job. I've been able to drop shot fish with this. I've been able to use little small swim baits, spinner baits, and it kills. It's a really good rod and reel combo. Next, oh man, I've had this combo for a long time. I believe this was probably my second or third combo I've ever had. So this is a Shimano Claris. Let me get this up there for you guys to check it out. Shimano Claris is a 6.6 action, medium light power rod. It's a fast tip, so I've caught crappies on this, lots of bass. I mean, it's very, very touchy, very sensitive rod. You can feel everything with it. These Claris rods, for the price that they are, I believe they range anywhere from like $70 to like $100. They're excellent, excellent rods. We have like 4 of them for the ocean. And this guy right here has caught me some of the biggest surf perch, this thing has caught me like 22 to like 25 inch halibut. I mean, it has been through some battles. Same with the reel. I mean, it's been through some wars. And the reel is a Shimano Sahara 3000 FD. Yeah, FD reel. And I always have this paired up with 8-pound test. 8-pound always seems to get me by with most things. I never really have any issues with 8-pound. I do need to re-spool this though. But I mean, this is a killer rod. And if you can find a Claris rod anywhere, I mean, I haven't seen any new ones, so I don't know if they still have the quality. It's Shimano, so I'm assuming so. Check it out, give it a shot, because they usually do not disappoint. Excellent, excellent rod and reel. All right, and this is the new one. So this one I actually got when I bought the boat. The guy that I bought it from, he knows a guy who sells rods and reels, and he was able to get this for me. This is a 7.2 medium fast action rod. It is a 13 Creed reel, and I've used this a bit. It is killer. I used this in one of my previous videos with a little fluke in the ponds, and it handled everything perfect. I mean, granted, it's just a fluke, and it was just breaking it in, but I mean, it's a really good rod. And the rod, I believe I already said it, but it's a Cadence. It's really killer. It's got really good, it's a thick rod toward the base, so it's got a lot of backbone. It's got a longer butt that I like, back end of the rod. And the tip, because it's a fast action, I mean, you feel everything. I mean, it is very touchy. It is an amazing rod, and I'm gonna have so much fun with this thing. The guides on here are really good, very well wrapped. So, I mean, check this sucker out. It's a Cadence CR7 7.2 medium fast rod. And I mean, the preferred weight, it says for lures, is 1/4 to 3/4 of an ounce. So, and I have 10-pound test on this 13 Creed reel. It is a size 3000, I believe. It's a Creed GT. So give that a look. I believe these reels are about $80 or so. Really good reel. I mean, from what I've used so far, I haven't had any issues with it. The micro guides on the tip of the rod make it just an excellent way to just be able to cast your line out. And I mean, I haven't had any weird backlashes, any random line spew that I've had on some other brand new rods and reels I've had. I mean, it's been killer so far. Granted, I've only caught like 5 fish on it, but those 5 fish, it shredded and it handled perfectly. And I do have more rods and reels than what I'm showing you guys, but this is this is what I use mainly. I mean, this is my day-to-day stuff. This, relatively new as well. As you can see in my previous video, I still got that whopper plopper on. This is the SLX DC by Shimano. It's 150 XG. Really good reel. I mean, it's a fast gear ratio for a whopper plopper, so I do have to just slow it down a bit. But it isn't, I believe, an 8:3 gear ratio, so it is very fast. That's ideally what you want for a jig, because if a fish picks up a jig and it's swimming toward you, you want to be able to catch up as quick as you can and set that hook on that fish. So you want a faster gear ratio, which is actually why I bought this reel. But I wanted to test it out. I threw the whopper plopper on. I wanted to break it in, so that's why the whopper plopper's on. Ideally, for that, I would like a 6.3, just a nice slow roll, or a primarily a 7:3 gear ratio. That's more ideal. That's a good overall gear ratio reel, in my opinion. But I have this just paired up with a Bass Pro Shop. I just bought this rod, so I mean, I haven't really looked at it. So it's a Pro Qualifier Z. It is a 710 heavy action extra fast tip, which I really like because I like the sensitivity. I want to be able to feel my bites, but yeah, I want to be able to have that backbone to be able to withstand any sort of fish that I hook on here. I'm going to be using this sucker for reds and bottom fishing in San Diego, halibut fishing. So I mean, I want to be able to have a multi-use rod, and this sucker will do killer for really whatever you need. You can throw nice big swim baits on this and just slow roll them. Granted, like I said, it's got a fast gear ratio, so you have to slow down a little bit. But you can use swim baits on this. There's a rod like this, frogging, maybe a little bit too long for a frogging rod, but you can still use it. It's got a good backbone, like I said, and so far, I've really enjoyed it. It's handled every fish phenomenally. And I mean, the tip on it, I've been able to feel some fish that just barely tap it. And I never thought having a rod like this, I'd be able to feel any sort of light tap, but the way they make these rods now, I mean, just a little tiny just bump, I've been able to feel and set the hook on. So I mean, that's one of my favorite combos. And granted, it's a new one, but it's already one of my favorites. This is relatively new as well. This is a ducket fishing reel. This is a 6:3 to 1 gear ratio, so much slower. I like to use types of swim baits and rats and stuff like that on there. I have this paired up with the 6 scale Creature Edition 7.6 medium heavy rod. From what my personal opinion, I like the spinning rod more by 6 scale, but this is I've still caught some fish on here and it's handled really well. I like that it has a long back to the rod because I can really just, if I hook a big fish on it, it's tucked underneath my armpit and I can really get a good hook set on it. And honestly, I've had a couple bites on this rat on this rod and it's done well. I've hooked a couple of them, I just haven't been able to get the fish up. But this has been a really good rod so far. I've used this with lipless crankbaits, deep diving crankbaits, just a slow roll, easy going, and same with spinner baits. It's really good for spinner baits if you just want to slow down your retrieval and just slowly reel it in and get everything done. This has a 12-pound P-line on it, fluorocarbon. The Shimano SLX, I have 17 on that one, fluorocarbon. I believe that's just a Bass Pro brand. I didn't really, I was trying to look for a specific line and I couldn't find it. I wanted to put Seeger on there, but I couldn't find it. Now, this rod and reel you guys have seen in probably most of my videos. This is going to be one of my favorite rod and reel combos that I'm probably ever going to buy. It is a 7.6 medium heavy Mojo Bass fishing rod. I've caught already hundreds and hundreds of fish on this thing, and it's a Daiwa Tatula. It is a 7:3 gear ratio, and I believe here I should say it somewhere on here. And this is a CT100HS. So that is the reel. You have all the guides to control if you want to be able to cast out further, or if you want to just tighten it down. If you're new to bait casting, all those are usually on the side of all of these bait casters. So the only one that you have to actually pop the side open is the ducket, and then you just push down whichever you want. If you want them all pushed down because you're new to bait casting, using a bait cast rod and reel, push them all down, and as you get comfortable, you can pop them back open and use as you please. But this thing, I have caught big bass on this combo. There's really nothing to say about this combo. This combo is ideally, I'm gonna have this thing for a long time, and it's an amazing combo. And I mean, it's a little pricey, but you know, treat yourself every now and then. Same with that SLX. It's a little pricey reel, but you know, you gotta treat yourself. But this combo, I've fished little tiny swim baits, I fished spinner baits, I fished the rats, I fished jigs. I mean, overall, this combo does it all. So I mean, definitely check out the Daiwa Tatula. And check out St. Croix Mojo Bass rods. They're really good, and I mean, I haven't had any issues with it, so I'm really happy with that. Last but not least, this is what I started off with. This was my very first bait casting reel, very first bait casting rod I ever personally purchased. This is a Shimano Convergence graphite rod. It is a medium heavy. It's a 7.2. I've caught quite a few fish on it. The only thing I don't like about it doesn't have a longer back end, but I've been able to make do. I originally, way back, if you guys want to check out those videos, I use this all the time. I use swim baits on this. I used this for top water. I used jigs. I caught a lot of fish on jigs with this sucker. And the reel that I have with it is a Lew's Speed Spool Tournament MB, let's see. So it's a TS1 SHMB. So to be honest, me personally, I don't know what specific reel that is, because at the time I had no idea anything about bait casting. I was always a spinning rod fisherman, spinning rod and reel fisherman. I knew nothing about these. So when I bought this, I just heard of Lew's. I was watching a couple of YouTubers that I watch. I saw they used Lew's, so I was like, you know, I'll give it a shot. This reel, I bought it for $140, I believe. So it was still pretty pricey for my very first ever bait casting reel. But I wanted to get something decent, something that held up. The action, it's yep, it is a fast action. The rod could be better. Like I said, I've caught a lot of fish on it. It's done me well, but ideally I do want to pair up a better rod with this reel. And I mean, ultimately, those are my top 8 rods that I use for pretty much everything. This is the one I use the least, but I still use it quite a bit. And it's done me well, like I said. So those are the top 8 that I have. I have another, gosh, I don't know how many rods and reel combos I have, but those are much older, and when I didn't have any sort of money to buy any sort of fishing tackle, so there are cheaper combos as well. I think that a good rod and reel combo should cost anywhere, especially if you're a beginner fisherman, I think honestly you could get away with a $40 rod. Daiwa makes this rod called the Triforce. It's a $40 rod. They may have bumped it up to $50, but it's a really good spinning rod. I have like 4, actually no, I have 3 of the old ones. The old Triforces, I've used them in my videos. They're excellent rods, basic rods. They're medium action, fast, really good rod. I've caught hundreds and hundreds of bass on them. I used to use little spinner baits and whatnot out of Bartlett or Swirl or whatever, and caught a lot of bass from the shore just doing that. And then just little cheapy Daiwa reels and stuff like that, or little cheapy Shimano reels. But I think honestly a good combo should be anywhere starting $80 to $100. You can get a good combo for that. And you could get a combo that'll last quite a while for that. When you start getting into the 150, the 200, the 300 combo dollar range, that's when you start getting into that better gear, and that gear that's gonna last you a freaking eternity. And that's what I got with that Shimano SLX. Just the difference in how the reel works and how it just brings everything together. It's totally different. Same with that Daiwa Tatula. When you buy good gear, usually you have less mess ups. Usually. Doesn't always mean you're gonna catch more fish. I see so many people with not good gear and they load up. It's just how it is, but having good gear does help you. And me personally, I believe that it helps you catch more fish. But like I said, those are the 8 rod and reel combos that I use primarily. Like I said, I don't discriminate. As you can see, I had Shimano, I had Daiwa, I had Abu Garcia, I had 6-scale rods, I had Shimano rods, I have St. Croix rods, I have a ducket reel. Like, I have all these different brands. So I really test everything out, and honestly, everything's pretty darn good. My favorite is Daiwa and Shimano, but everything else has done really well. So, I mean, that's it. Just a quick little overview of the tackle that I use due to me not being able to fish because of my mess ups. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was somewhat informative. And I hope that it helps you guys think about rod and reel combos that may suit you guys best. Like I said, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 600 subs. I believe I'm like 70 away. I just love seeing you guys join my channel, and just make sure you guys come and join the Southwest Fishing fam, and we'll see you guys next time on Southwest Fishing.